Welcome back. This is Suffer Up with Nate and Ryan. We have a really cool episode today. So if you were listening last week, you heard about the Forgotten Florida 100, and you heard kind of a course outline as far as what the race was and just kind of high level, some advice, tips, tricks for your first 100 miler. The race was put on by Rum Bum. But today's episode, we're going to be opening up kind of the Forgotten Florida unfiltered version, kind of the journey that race was for Ryan, and what some lessons that we learned from a runner's perspective, Ryan being the runner, and then from my perspective being the pacer, and some lessons that we learned, as well as some takeaways and some things that we would encourage you guys to really chew on. Every race and event that we do, we always walk away with something valuable from it. So it was not only a physical journey, but also a spiritual journey. So
yeah,
definitely an amazing experience. But before we dive into that today, if this is your first time listening, we are Suffer Up. Our mission is to encourage and lead others to suffer with a purpose, striving to level up in life with an emphasis on spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. We want to help you learn and capture the best version of yourself and to find joy in the sufferings in this life. Also, without further ado, we want to say a special thank you to our sponsors. We have an awesome sponsor that supported us from the beginning of this channel, and that's Soft Socks. We wore them on this race. We came out with our feet in amazing health on this one, and we believe in them, we support them, and we have now can say that we truly have tested them.
Oh, yeah.
If you would like to try a pair, if you're a runner or an ultra runner, or you just are a very serious walker of any kind, we encourage them. They had a podiatrist actually get behind their product and support their sock as well. So we believe in them. If you'd like to try a pair, discount code SUFFER10, and you can find them in our link tree in the description of the show notes. So with that, let's open up Forgotten Florida.
100 miles, baby.
Yep, 100 miles. It's done. Buckle boy. Buckle boy. So we don't, with this one, it's kind of like, where do you start, right?
Yeah,
so we kind of went over, go back and listen to the first episode before we listen to this one, as far as the race outline and everything else. But
yeah, and why I signed up.
Why you signed up and everything else. So you kick us off, Ryan.
Yeah, I'll give like a brief overview of that last episode of like, I signed up because I was already signed up for 2 other races in this series, we'll call it. That gets you this Florida Man title. Also, we claim to be ultra runners here, so time to put our money where our mouth was and actually get out and do the darn thing.
Yep.
We've done 50Ks, but that's barely an ultra, so really wanted to push the limits and be able to, just be true to who we say we are. And I talked about it in last week's episode, but leading up to this race, I had a minor injury that really precluded me from, training as hard as I wanted to. But I felt like I still had a really good base built up from my 50K training and everything, and no excuses. I just I feel like I could have been more well prepared, but I feel like I was prepared enough to do it. Mm-hmm. So going into this race, knew that I had ran like 15 miles a couple of weeks before, so I felt good. I felt comfortable with what I was doing. It still scared me a little bit, but I think the distance was always going to scare me until I just did it.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, started the race and felt really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like I got kind of stuck. So the 50 miler and 100 miler start at the same time, start together and run the whole 50 together. And at first I felt like I got caught up in a 50-mile group that was going a little fast. And I was like, all right, I need to let these 50 milers get by me because they don't have the same distance I got to go. So they're just going a little hard.
Yeah.
Then I felt like I found a sweet spot with some other 100-miler guys. I actually felt like we were going a little bit slow. I was like, man, this is not a great pace on the trail. It was like a 12-minute pace, which was right where I wanted to be, right what we had talked about leading up to the race. I was like, yeah, if I can hold a 12-minute for the first half or so, that'd be great. That'd be really, really great. And So it felt slow, but it was also right where I wanted to be. So mentally, I was just trying to like balance that. Like I want to go faster, but have patience. Um, the whole first 10 to 15 miles are pretty technical, and there's a lot of swampy sections that have boardwalks across them. Some boardwalks are in great shape, some are not. One of them, as I was running up to it, I vividly remember looking at it and thinking, that might break. But I was about 10 feet from it at that point when I thought about it, and I just kept on running. Ran over it, and sure enough, it did break. Right as I stepped in the middle of the boardwalk, it broke, and I don't know. I guess like subconsciously having that thought already, I was kind of prepared, and like I caught myself. I didn't fall down, like break an arm or fall into the mud or anything like that. But that quick reaction of catching myself, and like I was on one foot when it broke, and the way it broke, I like kind of slid down the board and balanced while I did it. It definitely still got me.
Yeah.
There was a guy right behind me though that saw it happen, and he's like, "Whoa, man!" And like, you just like amped up right in the moment. Adrenaline's high. You're already running this race, and then that happens, and you caught yourself, and you're like, "Whoa, I'm good. I'm great."
Yeah.
Well, the adrenaline wore off, and about 2 or 3 miles later, I was like, "Man, my knee is hurt.
Yeah.
My left knee is really, really hurting on the outside. Like I did something to it." And I didn't put two and two together right away. It probably took me a few miles to realize, like, why would my knee be hurting? Oh yeah, that happened. I wonder what that jolt and that me catching myself did. And I don't know. I really didn't have any idea what happened. I just knew that the outside of my knee was hurting, and what was going at a 12-minute run quickly turned into a 12-minute run walk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'm already walking more than I thought I was gonna, but maybe this is a good thing. It's 100 miles. I'm pacing myself.
There you go.
It's fine. Well, I did that for a while, for like 15 miles or so, and I was approaching the 30-mile mark where I would meet my wife for the first time in the first crew aid station, and it really kind of hit me that the time that I had thought that I wanted to get on this race, I wasn't going to get. And at that point, and my knee was hurting so bad, I was thinking, am I even going to be able to finish this thing? Like, I don't want to ruin my knee
Yeah.
just because I'm trying to finish this thing. And I'm like, well, mentally, that was a big battle for me. I was trying to grapple with that. So anyways, I get to this first crew aid station, get to see my wife and my kids, and I sit down in a chair. My wife tries to put some KT tape on my knee, and we put some cream, kind of like icy hot on there, that really just numbed the pain more than anything, I think.
Yeah.
But it was enough, and the rest sitting in the chair was enough that when I got up, I was able to start walking back out on the trail, kind of get warmed up a little bit, walking, and then I was able to jog some more. I'm like, okay, if it doesn't get any worse than this, I think I'm going to be all right. But in my head, I'm still like, all right, let's make it to the next aid station. That's mile 47. And then from there, I'm going to make it to the 53-mile mark where I would pick up Nate or see him at least. And I'll make the final decision there as far as, like, can I keep going or is this going to be the end of my race? So I get to 47. I've done a lot of walking already. Still trying to keep up the run walk, but doing a lot of walking. And sit down at that aid station, see my wife, get some food again, hanging out. Well, I go to stand up from that one, and it hurts. It hurts pretty bad. And my wife kind of looks at me and she's like, does it really hurt that bad? I said, yeah, but just right now. Like,
yeah, right.
Just standing up from sitting down being cold. And as soon as I start walking on that trail again, it'll warm up, it'll loosen up, and I'll be good. And so I start walking again, go about a half mile, and sure enough, it does. I'm able to walk at a good pace again, and the pain kind of subsides. And it was probably about that point that I thought, like, if this is as bad as it gets, I can keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, it hurts, but it really only hurts the worst when I stop, get cold, and start moving again. And then we're back in business. So I'm like, well, I'm going to get to the 53, see Nate. We'll talk about it then. Sydney had told me that you had picked up a knee brace for me.
Yeah, so the couple small things happened on the backstage.
Yeah. Yeah, what
behind
was
the
happening
scenes.
behind the scenes?
So Sydney, I came home after the start and I laid down at like 7 o'clock. I slept from 7 to 10 ish. I got an extra 3 hours. I woke up and I was like, I'm up. There's no more sleeping for Nate. So I had some coffee and I'm kind of following you on the Garmin. Sydney came home between aid stations. I believe so. But
I don't know.
think
I
it
don't know if
was
between the start and the aid station.
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Or no, I think she came home
she
between
did.
both.
Yeah, she
Between
did.
the aid station.
Because it was a pretty good distance.
Yeah, that 17 miles. I told her, like, you got this much time. You might as well go back.
Right. So she came back, and you had already texted me, and I think Sydney, of like, injure my knee or separately, one of the two. But we both were aware that you had injured your knee around
Well, after
mile 10.
that first aid station with her, that first crew station, I texted you both and said, screw the 24-hour goal.
Yeah.
Because I had went into this thinking, maybe I can get 24 hours or less.
Mm-hmm.
And I texted you both, screw it. That's out the window.
Right. So she came back to the house. I talked to her and I said, how's he looking? I'm still getting some of my last minute kit together and getting things situated with the truck, the crew truck. But she's like, he's still going, but his knee's bothering him. Which is she had a little bit of worriness in her voice. And I said, okay, well, we'll figure out where he's at. I'm confident that we can get to 50 and then we're going to figure it out from there. But right now we'll just get him through this first 50 and then we'll figure out when I see him and I lay hands on the situation, we'll address it then. And then she had told me, like he was a little emotional coming into that first aid station. And so behind the scenes, there was a little bit of dialogue between Sydney and myself of like, Ryan is going to push through some of the pain. It could just be overuse. We don't know that it's an injury yet. We don't know for sure that it's an injury yet.
In my head, I'm thinking I've torn a meniscus or like done something severe.
Right.
I've never had an injury like that, so I don't have anything to compare to.
Right.
But I'm thinking like, oh, this is on my knee. This can't be good.
Right.
At what point is me walking going to make it worse?
Right. Yeah.
And I was kind of just judging off of pain. That's why I was saying, like, when it got to that point of like it hurts, but when I start walking again, it kind of subsides.
Right.
Okay, this is manageable. I can continue on here as long as it doesn't get worse full time.
Right. Yeah. And so there was a little bit of like reassurance from my point to Sydney of like, we don't know anything yet.
Yeah.
This is all just hypothetical. So let's try to stay in the positive of like, he's got a little hitch in his giddy up right now, but he's just going to kind of keep going. And then when we get to 50, we'll address it and we'll see where we're at. Other than that, your dad was a little concerned at the time. He was, really worried about your knee.
Yeah.
And everything else.
Oh, backstory there. First off, like having your dad and your wife as part of your crew, they care a lot about you.
Yeah.
And on a deeper level of like, they don't want to see you get injured and anything bad at all happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Nate cares about me, but is also like, it's a boo-boo. Come on.
Yeah.
You're good.
There's a balance there for sure.
Yeah. So like they've got a little more worry to them, but also my dad has had a knee replacement and knee issues in the past, and he's thinking worst case, like, Ryan's gonna blow his knee out trying to do this stupid run, and I'm gonna have to nurse him back to health and tell him I told you so.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that happened, and then we'll just jump to the 50-mile mark. So I knew about your knee. I was ready to go. I had some food.
You guys picked up the knee brace.
Picked up the knee brace from Ace. Sorry, not Ace. Walgreens. I picked up a knee brace from Ace. Some rebar and some tap cons. We got your knee brace, Ryan. Yeah. We got it from Walgreens, and it's gonna come back later. But in the parking lot of Walgreens was a ton of Uno cards. They were scattered
Is
throughout.
that where you found those?
That's where I found them.
Oh, I thought you found them on the trail.
No, I found them at the Walgreens parking lot.
Okay.
And so I picked up like a few of them and threw them in my pocket. I'm like, I don't know how these are going to tie in later, but I'm going to pick up a few of them and throw them in my pocket.
But I got a game.
We're going to play a game on the trail or something. I don't know. And your dad looked at me like I was crazy and weird, which I am. But
Accurate.
anyway, we get to the race and we park at the 50 finish and the wind is whipping. We had a little bit of a hard time getting parked because there's so many cars.
Yeah.
You remember those big black culvert pipes at the finish?
Yeah.
I was going to put you in that because it was completely out of the wind.
Nice.
But you wanted to sit in the truck for a few minutes,
I did.
which worked out fine.
I
But
requested to sit in a nice warm truck on
Yes.
the way in.
So we parked perpendicular to the wind so you could get completely out of the wind for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Which was a good call.
It was good, except for when my dad opened the back door and it was a wind tunnel through
Ew.
the truck, and I was like, "Close that!
That's
Holy
cold."
crap!"
Yeah. But whipping winds, and we got you patched up a little bit. We put the knee brace on with hot hands.
Yeah, I was already wearing leggings at that point because
Mhm.
it was cold, and you stuck the hot hands to my leggings below my knee, and then put the knee brace on over that.
Was it good or bad?
It was great.
Okay, good.
None of those things came off again until I was in the shower after the race.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the toe hot hands have a sticky backing, and I love them because I'll stick them to my merino wool on my base layer. I'll just stick them all over, usually on like my two pecs, and then they'll kind of stay there.
Yeah.
And it's really quite nice. So yeah, put some hot hands on either side of your lower knee, and then put the brace on, cinch it down, and then we head out. And
The sock change.
yeah, we did a sock change, all that good stuff. But
Good morale boost right there, but also like we never talked about stopping.
no.
It was, you kind of just asked me like, so what's going on? I explained to you like, yeah, this is hurting. I feel like we both did a good job throughout that of like, I was trying not to complain
Yeah.
and say like, wham, wham, my knee hurts, but trying to inform you of like, this is what I'm feeling. This is where it's at.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, this is what we're going to do about it. And there was never the question of like, do you think you can keep going? It was just like, this is what we're going to do about it. And then we're going to walk.
Yeah, so one of the things that happened, I'm smiling and Mr. Bill, if you're listening to this, I'm going to go ahead and discuss the conversation we had in the truck on the way there.
That's my dad.
That's Ryan's dad. He was kind of going into like, why does he have to do this? Like, why destroy your body over a stupid race? And like, he has a livelihood and a family to take care of and like all this stuff. And he's playing worst case scenario in his head with his dad. And he goes, I just don't understand. Like, the farthest I've ever ran is like a mile, and I'm good with that. Like, mile and a half, 2 miles, whatever he said. And I don't know why would anybody want to run 100 miles? Like, he's having moments of doubt in his head
Yeah.
about just the distance in general. Yeah, it is crazy, but it's why we do these things. And if we have to explain why, if you've been listening to this podcast, I feel like we've done a bad job of portraying what Suffer Up is. But in any event, I made a very small comment, and I said, it's really hard to explain why Ryan's doing this race right now, and I don't think that this truck conversation is long enough for really to explain why.
Yeah.
But when we see Ryan, we can't just let him process the distance and let him process this journey on his own.
Can't
I
influence that.
And I reassured your dad. I said, I don't want to hear, I didn't say it like that. I said, basically, let's not talk about quitting anymore around him. Talk to me. But when it becomes unsafe, when I pull the card and I look at Ryan and I say, we're done.
Yeah.
I know that Ryan would say, okay, cool, we're done. But I said, let me see him first and let me see where we're at. Because if we can walk, we'll walk and we'll finish this.
And boy, did we walk.
Yeah, we walked a lot. It was a lot of walking, but the important part there was, and we had like a crew huddle, so to speak. I kind of called a small huddle. And Sydney was concerned. And I said to Sydney too, I said, like, he's in good hands. I'm going to watch him.
Well, Sydney's concerned because she said it to me too. She's like, you're going to push through stuff, aren't you? And I was like, well, yeah, like I'm here to push limits.
Yeah, right.
I can't just stub my toe and be like, nah, this isn't the perfect race. Time to throw in the towel.
Right.
And obviously I did more than stub my toe, but there's no bone, no bleeding.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can still walk. What's my excuse?
Right. Mm-hmm.
It hurts?
Yeah.
Bro, wait another 10 hours. It's all going to hurt.
Right. But we also, again, we did not know if it was a true injury, if it was just 100-mile soreness. I mean,
I knew my knee wasn't 100-mile soreness because I was nowhere near that yet.
Right.
But
still, like, distance soreness, so to speak.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, you could get injured running 10 miles. I mean,
don't
that's
know.
when it happened.
Right.
So it wasn't like it was something that I knew it wasn't, oh, you've gone too far and like pushed your body and now it's breaking down. It was like, okay, this is an acute injury, but how bad is it?
Right. We don't know. And I told your dad too in the truck, I said, if Ryan decides to quit at 50, you're not going to want to deal with Ryan. Not like that. I said basically, like, if Ryan quits at 50, he's going to go for a very long time wondering what if. And like, he needs to push the envelope on this race.
Yeah.
I just need y'all to trust me that I'm going to watch him and I'm going to take care of him through this distance. That's my job. And so I'm going to do everything I can to get him across that finish line safely. But if it ever becomes unsafe, I know that Ryan will tell him, like, I'll look at Ryan and like, we're done.
Yeah.
And he knows that we're past that safety point.
Yeah.
Because it's a legitimate thing. Like, we're doing 100 miles here. So you got to take it seriously.
We both have watched the Cam Hanes podcast that he did not that long ago, a couple months back, maybe, about 100 milers and how, like, it is dangerous.
Yeah.
It is not for just everybody who's just a 5K to just run out there and go try and do 100 miles. It's not some social media trend for you to just try. It's like, no, there's real potential dangers and risks.
Yeah.
And we trained and mitigated those as best as we could. And then, life still happens and stuff happens on the course and you can't plan for everything. But even at that point, it was still kind of like a triage thing. Like, okay, how bad is it? We're going to mitigate what we can. We got the knee brace.
Yep.
We got trekking poles eventually. Like, we're just going to keep going until it is abundantly clear that this is unsafe or going to do more harm than good.
Yeah, right.
And I think that you instilled that trust in my wife and dad. I never doubted that trust, and it was more of just like me getting over the mental hurdles earlier on in the race when I was emotional. It was me getting over the mental hurdles of like, this race is not going to go the way that I planned it would go.
Right.
And if my knee continues getting worse and I have to drop out, I'm going to feel really bad because you came all this way to run with me. And then if I can't run, that's really going to suck.
And we talked about that too a little bit because you're like, man, I feel like I let the team down. I said, no.
Yeah.
Goodness, no, you did not let the team down. This is just another obstacle that we get to overcome together as a team. Like, that is not the least bit of my concerns at all. Like, I'm there as a pacer to support the runner, and that's you. So, like, regardless of whatever pace we run, you want to push, we push. You want to walk, we walk. I mean, and honestly, walking it is harder than running it. So, if anything, we chose the harder route anyway. Walking does some weird things.
About
like
10 hours into that, I realized, no, Nate's getting his workout in too.
Yeah, it's a different, like, I got the best walking training ever. Like, you don't really, when you're as a runner, you don't really train to walk. Like, it's a whole nother different set of muscles. But leaving 50, I felt the energy boost from the time you came into 50 and the time that you left 50. There was a good boost there.
Well, that's what I was getting at. Was I feel like what helped a bunch with that energy boost and that transition there was that we never talked about quitting. Nobody was ever like, Ryan, if you want to stop right now, you can. Or there was just no talk of that. Like, it was never an option on the table, which was fine. Like, we're going to look at the problems. We're going to address the problems. We're going to get you fed, get you some water in you, and get back out.
Yeah.
And it was just bang, bang, bang. We're back on the trail. And then we're just doing the thing.
Yeah, right.
And like, when you don't give yourself the option to quit, it's really freaking hard to quit.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm.
Your only option is like, I need to do it 1, 2, 3 and go.
Right.
There's not, am I gonna do 1, 2, 3 and go? It's no, I'm gonna do this, and then go. Go is part of the process.
Yeah.
That's number 4.
Exactly.
You just do it.
You just got to count to 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That was a big boost for me, just getting back out on the trail. And then we're walking, and it's like, well, I didn't really know if we would get to this point. In my head, this is why I'm thinking, like, I didn't know if we'd get to this point, and we're freaking doing it. So we'll just get to the next point, and then the next point. And that's what I talked about in the last episode of like making little checkpoints in my head. It's just, we're just going to keep getting to that one, and then we're going to 1, 2, 3 and go.
Yep, exactly.
And every single time, that's what we kept doing.
Mm-hmm. And it's a refreshing thing from the runner's perspective too, because like you got this new set of eyes. I hadn't seen any of the trail yet.
Yeah.
And so you're almost kind of like
and you got into it at night.
Yeah, and I got into it at night. So like you're kind of explaining how the trail's marked and stuff, and it's engaging you a little bit more because you've just been alone for
and I'm
hours.
Excited because I've ran the farthest I've ever ran in my life already.
Yeah.
And I get to explain it all, like tell you all about it. Right. Oh, like the first half had this, and this. Like be on the lookout for these things, blah, blah. And you're probably getting flooded with information, but also just kind of there just to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Like whether my information was valuable or not, you're just like, cool, dude. Like I'm literally here for this,
right? Just
to hear you talk and keep you company,
right?
And keep moving.
Exactly. And it's also good from a pacer's perspective of being able to kind of see where they're at mentally. Like you're making sense of your words, like everything's clicking. He's still got his whereabouts. You know, he's not mentally fatigued. You were not the least bit mentally fatigued there at all.
No.
And you know, we were moving at a pretty good clip from start finish to power line.
Yeah.
And then when we came out of power line, you know, we talked about in the previous one of, you know, that was a pretty rough aid station as far as the weather and the wind.
Bad choice.
It was, but you know, live and learn. That was not a good call on my part. But what was cool was like we would have moments where like 2 miles out from the aid station, it was like, all right, what do you think you want? You know, food, and then it gets you to that aid station a little bit more because you're starting to think about like what kind of treats are at the truck, you know?
What am I looking forward to?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that aid station, that's the one where we came out of the woods and you have to cross Powerline Road, and there's the trail's like directly right in front of you. You walk out of the woods, cross the road, go back into the woods. Well, that is unless your dad is the driver of your crew truck and parks 200 yards away down the road.
Yeah.
Then you get to come out of the woods, walk down the road in the cold wind, go to the truck, and then walk all the way back.
That was funny though, because
it was great because we walked out of the woods and I was like, is that him? And they was like, no, I think he's down there to the right. And I'm like, that's him all the way down here? What the heck?
Yeah.
And Nate's like, what? And I was like, it's just, that's something he would do. Park far away. And he's going to tell me, oh, what's another couple hundred yards? Because you're walking 100 miles.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we get to the truck. I sit down and I start grumbling to him. I'm like, you couldn't have parked any closer. And what's he say, Nate?
Yep, he says exactly what you
said.
Exactly
what
I
said. Talk about
afterwards,
a morale boost. We were cracking up.
On the truck ride home, too, he even said, he goes, yeah, I knew Ryan was going to say exactly what he said about me parking this far, so I already had my response queued up. So, and he was quick to the whip, too, man. He was, like, on it. But, and your dad did an awesome job of, like, trying to do as best he could of, like, anticipating a need and having stuff ready when we got there.
Dad did the best he could possibly do for not being a runner or being around runners a lot, because, like, we're telling him to grab stuff, and he's like, I don't even know what that is.
Right.
He told me to grab a Garmin charger. What kind of charger is that?
Yeah, right.
And he wants a salt. What the, like, table salt?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? But no, he did a great job just trying to have everything that we asked for ready.
Yep.
And he was there at every one. Like,
he
just
was.
The presence was there, and you know, the truck with all the stuff we needed was never not where we needed it to be.
Right. Yeah, he did an awesome job. By the end of it, he was like rocking and rolling. He had everything laid out. Like by the third aid stop, he's like, okay, I got the gist of this and what they're going to want. He was solid on that. So yeah, when we came out of power line and then we went into fish hole, that section, again, we said was a nice short section, but, you're still moving pretty good. I didn't really, see too many hiccups there, from a pacer's perspective. When we got to fish hole though, you had a kind of a dip as far as just your demeanor. You started getting like fatigued just a little bit.
Started stretching my knee there.
Yeah.
I know, because my knee was like getting tighter, I guess. And I didn't sit down at that one.
Mm-mm.
I think I don't know if it was your idea to not sit down or for me to, or if I said I don't want to sit, but I just sat down at power line where it was cold as crap, and getting up from that was hard on the knee.
Yeah.
And I was like, when we get here, I'm just gonna stretch. So I kept using the running boards on the truck and like leaning and stretching, and um, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hindsight, I wouldn't have even stopped at Powerline.
Yeah.
We just kept going. But
Well, you got quiet at Fish Hole. Like, you were real quiet. We
Yeah.
stopped and got some bacon, and then you got some more broth, I think. And then I grabbed some snacks out of Fish Hole. They had those oatmeal chocolate crumbles.
Yeah.
I think I ate like 3 of those
You
things.
were grabbing up the aid station food.
Yeah. So then it's funny because I was at the tailgate restocking your vest, and I'm like, "Where's Ryan?" I lost Ryan just for like a brief second, and I come over and I see this like the purplish blanket. It just like humped over, leading into the you're like head into the passenger seat of the Dodge. You're just laying there for a second, and I got a short video, put you up, and you were getting chapstick on or whatever. But for like a second, I'm like, Ryan just walked off. Then when you kind of came to, you could see it in your eyes that you're starting to get kind of fatigued.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, because we're at like 60 something miles there. But yeah, and then it was just
that's like natural bedtime too.
Yeah.
Like that was like, let's see, if I came into the 53 at like what time?
7-ish.
7:30, 7 to 8, and we had gone another 9 miles by that point.
Yeah, we're at 9:30, 10 somewhere there.
That's another 3, 6, 9, so 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's you're talking like 10,
Bedtime.
11 o'clock. Yeah, I mean, my natural circadian rhythm was like, dude, it's time to go to bed, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like, but then from then on, every aid station, it was to try to keep you away from the truck. Like, no, we're not going to the truck, Ryan. And you had enough fortitude. I think that anybody weaker in the mind, if they got in the truck, that would have been the end of the race for them. I really think that, because I've heard that before, like, keep them out of the truck because.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because you get in the truck,
yeah,
like,
you've
you're
heard
going
like,
somewhere.
Don't let them die in the chair and stuff like that. But no, like the only reason I ever wanted to get in the truck, the couple of times that I did, was to get out of the freaking wind.
Yeah.
It was just so cold, and I was like, if I can sit in that truck and have hot air blow on me for a few minutes, oh, that'd be so great. Because sitting in the chair, even with the blanket on, it wasn't enough.
Yeah, right.
Especially not on Powerline Road.
No,
it was not.
That wind was horrible.
Yeah, and until sitting in the chair later on in the race at like the Charlie Lake aid station with the blanket on, when the sun was up, then it was finally like just warm enough.
Right.
But prior to that, all night long, the blanket was not enough.
Right.
I needed a freaking heating blanket or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then coming out of Fish Hole, when we got on the road, we tried running again, and your legs just were not having it.
We ran a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
My dad followed us with the truck.
Yeah. There's a very, very short
headlights
section there, yeah.
Oh, and there was also talk at that aid station of Fish Hole. The truck was like half low on fuel.
Yeah.
And I was, in my head, they're like, Nate and my dad are discussing what to do about this. And in my head, that's probably part of the reason I was quiet at that aid station.
Yeah.
I was aggravated. I was annoyed. I was like, why are we freaking talking about fuel in the truck right now? Like, why didn't neither one of you bozos put fuel in this truck before the race? Like, why is this just now occurring that, oh yeah, we need fuel, we're going to sit in the truck all night long with it running? And I was like, well, this is retarded. I want to get back out on the truck.
So backstory to that was, when we were coming down, we had filled the truck up like at the 75 I-10 split.
Yeah.
And we made it, and we were like sitting above half.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we made it this whole way. So I asked your dad, because I don't really know the consumption of those vehicles.
Yeah.
I was like, should we fill up, or like?
The answer's always yes.
I know. See, but I never let my truck really get below half for reasons like that. And we're like, yeah, it'll be fine. But then when we were sitting waiting for you at the 50, I'm like, we park, we turn the truck off. Your dad was like, just roasty toasty in that truck. I'm like, we're burning so much diesel right now. Like, we're gonna have to get fuel.
Which I didn't care about the truck being on and burning the diesel.
No.
I could care less about that.
I'm thinking about a fuel conservation.
But the planning and the conservation efforts were not thought about.
No. And that was partly on me. I should have just said, let's pull over and get fuel.
Yeah, so I was quiet there. But after we left Fish Hole, Dad went to go get fuel, didn't he?
He did.
He went.
Well, he wasn't
fuel.
going to,
because we're doing the math of like how far do we have until we're back on the road at. So, and that was when the GPS track was saying we got 9 miles to our next aid station too.
Yeah.
And we're thinking, oh, well, then he's got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Which wasn't entirely true, but it actually worked out like perfect. I
Yeah,
don't know what gas station he found, but he was back super quick.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. So, and that was another thing too, from a pacer's perspective. Like, your dad tells you, like, goes right to you and tells you, he's like, yeah, we're like half a tank of fuel. I'm like,
I know.
No.
At that same aid station, he was also telling me,
don't tell him that. Just
hey, did you know that there's a chunk taken out of your tire? I'm like, Dad, I know it's there. I don't care right now.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I'm like trying to buffer as much as I can, and I'm like, no, just leave him alone. No, don't, because I don't need him more aggravated. He's already mad about his knee. I don't need him more mad.
No, it was fine. We left that aid station, and I just honestly, I never thought about any of that stuff again.
Yeah.
And we popped out on the road, and within, I don't know, it felt like within 30 seconds of us popping out of the trail onto the road, my dad was back there with the truck and like right behind us.
Just fine. There was no issues.
And like we were walking alongside the truck for a minute, and then we got over in front of the truck and turned our headlamps off and just walked with the truck headlights behind us. It worked out great, honestly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So everything has a way of working out.
And we laughed about it then too. But yeah, I'll eat that one. I should have just said, let's stop and get fuel. But I was like, we're at half. This is a massive tank of fuel. I'm like, it should last through the night.
Yeah, you could drive almost back to Pensacola on it, but you can't sit in the truck overnight with it, apparently.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I can't really explain why it went down, but next time just fill her up.
Yeah. So, yeah, just top off your fuel before you go into the middle of nowhere. So,
seems like common sense when you say it like that.
Yeah, but we're like, it's at half. It should be plenty. But anyway. So, yeah, then we came into Charlie Lake. You kind of just kept walking, and I think it was shortly after coming through Charlie Lake, you made a comment. You said, I don't know that I could do this for another 10 hours. Do you remember that?
Yep. That was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was the only time I said anything like that. Like, I don't know if I can. I don't think I ever said I can't keep going or I can't do this. I think that was the only time that I remember at least saying, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah. So you said that. Well, there was one other point. You might not remember saying it. We'll get to it. It was on the long Charlie Lake section. Rightfully so.
I just wanted that to be over.
Yeah. But yeah, you said that. And I said, well, you don't have to worry about the next 10 hours. You just got to worry about the next 10 minutes.
Yeah. Then, I think what I remember you saying was like, that's fine. Like, just make it back to that aid station.
Yeah.
Like, let's just get back to the aid station and the truck's there and we'll reassess.
Yeah.
And it was like that reminder of like, okay, yeah, remember checkpoints, Ryan.
Yep.
Checkpoints. Mm-hmm. But we hadn't even made it to the turnaround.
No, we hadn't.
On that. So like when you go into Charlie Lake, you hit Charlie Lake 3 times. So we had been through the Charlie Lake aid station 1 time. I didn't stop and get anything. I just kept walking because we thought that we were going to have to walk for 9 miles. So in my head, I was like, screw it. We'll just walk for 9 miles.
Yeah.
And I'll stop at Charlie Lake on the second trip back. But we had to run or walk. We had to go south out of Charlie Lake down to this out and back.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like 2.5 miles there, 2.5 miles back. So we had 5 miles to go, and we hadn't even made it to the end of that out and back. And that's when I'm saying to Nate, I think prior to me saying that, I think I had like leaned over on my poles and dozed off for a second.
No, the doze off was the second leg of Charlie Lake.
Oh, it was?
Yep.
I thought it was when you took my picture. Because that was the first leg.
No. That was the first time that you truly leaned on your poles.
Yeah.
And I took that epic picture. But when you fell asleep was on the second leg.
Okay.
Yeah, before we got to the levee.
Yeah, my timing is all off.
Yeah,
but okay,
fine.
So I had like leaned over on my poles and kind of stretched my leg out, and I was feeling it at that point for sure. And that's when I said that to you, I guess, about I don't know if I can do this for another 10 hours. And so anyways, we hadn't even made it to the turnaround. So you're like, well, just make it back to Charlie Lake. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, like checkpoints, remember. Oh, wait, but we still got to make it all the way down to the end of this thing that I don't know when the end is.
Yeah, it was forever.
It just kept going.
Forever. That was another time when we got to the grassier section, you like took your poles and you like dug them into the gravel and you went, I said, what's wrong with you? And you're like, Nate, how much farther is this stupid trail going to go? He started getting mad. And I said, dude.
Not at you.
No, not at me. But it was just funny the situation because you're like,
Nate. I thought I was going to get to the end of this gravel road and be the turnaround. So like Well, at first I didn't know when it was going to be. And then I can see the end of a gravel road and it just turns to grass. And I'm like, that's got to be the turnaround. That's it.
Yeah.
It's right there. I'm not looking at my watch or anything. And we get there and the race director's name is Sean. Sean, I have no ill will towards you, but throughout the night, anytime I got mad, I blamed you, bro.
Yeah.
So like
stupid Sean.
we got there and I was like, gosh, freaking Sean, where am I going now? Down this grass? Oh man, where's the turnaround, Sean? Where'd you put it?
Yeah, it just became. I mean, yeah, no ill will towards Sean whatsoever.
It just became our blame.
It became kind of a joke at the end of the night to stay sane of like, oh
dang it, Sean.
Dang it, Sean.
Though the water station froze over because it's 20 degrees. Dang it, Sean.
Dang it, Sean. It kind of became a slogan, but
yeah,
you got to talk to Jimmy in that section. That was a good boost for you.
Did. We got to we got to the turnaround and the hole punch didn't work. Dang it, Sean.
Yeah.
That one is kind of his fault. But
yeah.
That was also amusing because Nate, you were trying to hole punch my bib, trying to help me out.
Yeah.
And I'm just laughing at you the whole time. And we were cracking up, man.
Yeah, it was funny because there's another runner there that was struggling. So I helped him. And because everybody's hands are cold.
First time using a hole punch?
Yeah, first time using a hole punch. So you had already put like pants over your bibs because of the changeover at 50. So we had to like somehow get the bib. It was a mess.
My bib was attached to my shorts, which were under my pants.
Yeah.
So I had to like pull my pants down to get to my bib on my shorts. And I'm just like, it's too cold for this crap, man.
Mm-hmm.
Way too cold.
It was.
Anyways.
So we got that situated and turn around and you're like, all the way back. And then I said, well, at least we know how far we have to go now. At least we know the trail, you know? So.
And the whole night, Nate, like I said, I felt like I did a good job of not complaining, but I think there was definitely some times that I would say like one or two things and Nate would be like, what's something good? Like, tell me something good that you got. Good. And I would immediately, correct me if I'm wrong, because my memory is not the best on this, but I think I would immediately like tell you like 3 or 4 things that were good. And you're like, there we go.
Yeah.
Like my mindset would immediately switch. And I'm like, yeah, I'm thankful it's not any colder. I'm thankful that I can still feel my hands.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they might have been slightly sarcastic, but
mm-hmm.
I was telling you positives when you're like, give me something positive.
Mm-hmm.
I would give them to you. And that kept me moving, I think,
exactly.
a lot. Because you could definitely end up wallowing in self-pity out there.
Oh, yeah.
And just getting mad, getting sad, and quitting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That'd be very easy to do.
Yeah, and remind me at the end, we'll go over the 3 questions that I asked you before we started. We'll end the episode there. I just want to say it before I forget. But yeah, so then coming back, it was good. But the whole trend of the Charlie Lake series, if you will, we'll call it the trilogy of Charlie Lake because it was really 3 sections there, but was just an absolute grind.
Yeah.
Like for you, trying to keep you entertained.
Yeah.
Because it's just mind numbing. Like there's nothing there to even look at. It's just dirt roads. And the wind was blowing. At least the night was beautiful.
Yeah, the moon was out. We were able to turn the headlamps off, which kind of changed things up some.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We were passing other runners were coming towards us as we were going out. So like there was not constant, but there was other people to interact with every once in a while, which sometimes I noticed myself a few times, like we'd pass somebody and you'd be like, you're doing great, keep going. And I just like blank stare, just kept trudging along. And I would think to myself like, that was rude, dude. Like you could have said something encouraging to that person. Then I'm like, whatever, screw it.
Yeah, whatever, screw it.
I just had no energy left to even.
You could tell who the Pacers were, for sure. You could definitely tell who the Pacers were.
And the runners were just like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, another funny moment was we had, when we were on the trail between Powerline and Fishhole, we started singing Hakuna Matata.
Oh, yeah. You said, what did you say? You said something about the jungle.
Oh, we're in the jungle, the mighty jungle.
You might have said like "Welcome to the Jungle" or something. Like you started singing a different song.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that reminds me. And then I started singing "In the Jungle," the mighty
jungle. Yeah.
And then we're both just singing that "Run Through the Woods."
Yeah, that was good.
That was great.
That was a good time.
Yeah.
And then
that was when spirits were still high.
Yeah, they were high. And then the farts. They were so bad. And so then that joke went into a whole Pumbaa and Timon.
Yeah.
And so that was like a whole joke. But yeah, I mean, your stomach is just jacked up from that distance. So
Yeah.
the whole trail
I
just
didn't have to
stunk.
stop and go to the bathroom once on that trail.
Yeah.
Not for that. So I maintained a good bladder of going like once every hour or two.
Hour and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which I felt like was pretty good indication that I was hydrating properly.
Yeah. Mhm. would say
But
so.
never had to go to the bathroom in the woods the other way.
Yeah.
And
One fella did.
yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That was when you were a little delirious.
I do. Yeah, that's when I was seeing the trail, the candy wrappers on the trail.
Fairs, yeah, the trail candy. Yeah,
we'll get there.
We'll get there. Okay, so we come into Charlie Lake and I was just pounding coffee all night. I had made a thermos. And
I wondered if you drank any coffee.
I did.
Because you didn't go in the woods either at all. And I was like, man, surely he's not drinking any coffee.
I was drinking coffee.
Nice.
Yeah, I had a small cup every stop.
Good for you.
And then, so you said the only time that you were like speaking ill like that was then, but there was one moment on the long section to Charlie Lake when things started to get a little foggy in your brain.
Well, hold on. So that second time into Charlie Lake, that's when you kind of ran ahead, got some stuff done at the truck. I stood by the campfire that was there at that aid station, which was glorious.
Yeah.
Stood there for a few minutes and then wandered over to the truck.
Yep.
And that's when I got back in the truck in the front seat then, and we changed my socks the second time.
And I taped your toes.
You popped a blister on my toes like a bro. I wasn't really paying much attention. I was like eating or drinking something that he had told me to do, and I looked down and he's got a freaking needle coming towards my toe, and I was like, whoa, and he's like, gotta pop it. I was like, oh no, I don't want that. And then he does it. I couldn't feel my toes. I couldn't really realize that, but I didn't feel that needle one bit. So
even if you had felt your toes, because that skin, you rarely feel them.
Yeah.
Those you never really...
Maybe I could have felt my toe. Oh, I couldn't feel that needle whatsoever.
Yeah.
You could have probably stuck it all the way through my toe. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of fluid that came out of that one blister.
It was a big one.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. And that's the same one that came back later at the end of the race. It was bad.
Which is actually a good thing. So like if you're listening to this and you're wondering how to take care of blisters, you don't want a blister to tear.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is essentially lance it like a small hole and drain it so the skin will sit on top of the fresh skin underneath. And then you tape it and protect it so that the skin does not tear. Once the skin tears, that's when the pain really truly starts. Because that fluid is essentially that fluid is creating a barrier to protect an area.
Yep.
So
on my 50K last year, I got a blister on my toe and it popped and tore while I was still running. It was extremely painful.
Yeah.
Very, very, very painful. Like I had to walk some because of that until the pain kind of subsided, and then I was able to run again. This one got the blister. It didn't pop. You popped it. Then you put the KT tape on it, and later on it came back and was a blister again. And at the end of the race, it was still a bulging blister. We peeled the KT tape off, and it didn't pop from that.
No.
I got a shower and everything. Like I let the blister be a big blister, and only like 2 days ago did it finally pop on its own. And I cleaned it and everything at that point, but left the skin on top. My point is, it finally did its thing. It worked itself out, but I have not once felt pain from that blister the entire time. Not from the time I got the blister to right now sitting here with it after it popped.
Yeah.
Because I left the skin in place the whole time.
Yep.
So that's a testament to the big difference that leaving the skin there is versus it getting ripped off.
Yep.
Holy smokes, that would be painful.
Yes. So,
and I think our soft socks did a great job at like hugging that toe and keeping it in place.
I agree.
Even once you did pop it, you taped it, but then we put a soft sock back on.
Yeah.
Or no?
We did. Oh no, that was when we switched to warm
That's when we
socks.
switched, but the tape was our version. Yeah.
So tape, and then we did the merino wool socks.
Yep.
So, but yeah, your dad was standing there is like, golly, man, that's disgusting. Why do you want to touch his feet? I'm like, this is kind of part of the job. I mean, like, he can't really touch his toes right now, so we're gonna. Somebody's got to do it. So
at one point, I leaned down and touched something. You're like, whoa, you can touch your toes.
Oh yeah, that's true. I do remember that. So yeah, when we left out of Charlie Lake, I brought a decent amount of food with me.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking more like what are you gonna eat or want? So I loaded my pack down for that section, but you started to get kind of like you became a toddler in that section. It was
Yeah.
kind of like I jokingly and affectionately said that you see like every single like age group of somebody.
I had digressed.
Yeah. So you went from like strong young man to like walking like an old man to then walking like an old man and acting like a toddler. To like start like I had to start feeding you. At one point I was handing you food and you were like trying to grab it, but you like weren't quite making the connections. So then I'm like, just open your mouth,
on that
Ryan.
section. You're just like, open your mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's beef jerky in my mouth now. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I kind of loaded down in that section for you, and that was also the section that when we got to I knew that there was a water stop because that was a 12-mile section ish.
Yeah.
That
one was mentally tough. We talked about it in the last episode too, of like just going into that, knowing that it was 12 miles, 6 miles out, 6 miles back. That was mentally sucky from the first mile in because you're just like, oh man, there's a lot more left. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I was walking pretty slow and I'm doing the math. And you're like, well, we have to be back out of this aid station. At this point, we've gone slow for so long that like cutoff times are starting to become a factor.
A thing. Yeah.
And he's like, we have to be back out of this aid station, Charlie Lake, by 11 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like, 11 a.m. Looking at my watch, like, man, we got plenty of time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we really didn't. I mean, we did. We ended up coming through at 9 or something.
Yeah.
I think we had a couple hours, but not as much as I thought.
No.
What I thought was going to be, let's see, a 4-hour trip, that out and back 6 miles, because we were already walking at like a 20-minute pace.
Yeah.
Was probably more like a 4.5, 5-hour trip.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, just before we came back into Charlie Lake on that really long section at the turnaround, you kind of stood up and stretched, and you let out this like groan of like, I just want this to be over. I don't know if you remember saying that. I just want this to be over, Nate.
Yeah.
I just want this to be done. And I said, well, it's not, Ryan. And right now, though, it was at that point I said, well, if you think about it right now we're running to the finish line because now we don't have any turnarounds anymore. It's just to the finish line. And then
the sun was up.
The sun was up, and we jokingly had, like, when the sun came up, we had the breakfast of champions. Not really, it's quite disgusting, but we had the chocolate covered M&Ms. I brought those with me. And I was like,
great.
Hand him 2 or 3, and then he would eat them, and then hand 2 or 3, and we'd eat them. And
so we had that just pre-sunset, I think, because we had passed the frozen water station, and we were like getting onto that levee that was exposed, or like right about to be on it.
Right.
And because you tried to give them to me earlier in that walk, and I was like, nah, man, we still got a long ways to go. Like, give them to me closer to the turnaround point. And then we passed the frozen water station, and it was like, so much for our water.
Yeah.
Kind of demoralizing. And then we get out there to that levee and it's like, oh man, how much farther? And you're like, all right, time to boost the morale. Here's some M&Ms. Hold your hand out.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, you were really down in that section.
Things are looking bleak.
And I'm starting to run out of things to really boost you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, M&Ms, here we go. You know, we're going to have some M&Ms.
Man, that section was just so rough because you couldn't see the turnaround.
Yeah.
Just like all the rest. It looked like it's forever away.
Yeah.
And the sun was just starting to come up behind us. We were in like what I would call pinky time, or it's
Pinky
light.
time. That's
yeah.
good.
Oh, that's what we called it in the Navy when we would fly into nighttime.
Okay.
Or morning into day. Like you could go out and get nighttime hours in pinky time because it's technically the sun hasn't come up or technically went down yet.
Yeah.
Or
I know what you mean.
Vice
Twilight.
versa. Like, it hasn't come up yet or it has just went down, but it's still light.
Yeah.
You know, so like technically it's past the sunset time, or in our case that technically it hadn't hit sunrise time. Anyways, it was still light, but everybody still had headlamps on. So I'm looking down this road that never ends and I see lights and I'm like, I bet that one of those lights is the turnaround point. They put like a little light on it for us.
Nope.
And then, 10 minutes later, I'm passing a guy with a headlamp on his head and I'm like, you weren't the turnaround.
No.
Nope.
You know, another funny thing you did was before we made that left-hand turn onto the levee,
yeah,
you took your trekking poles, you stood there, and you went across the gravel. And I'm like,
I
what are you
remember
doing?
that.
Is that your new finish line? And you're like, no, the sun, we're going to be back here by the time the sun comes up. We didn't hit our mark.
My math was so off.
Yeah. And then you drew another one.
I did. I'm
And
down
then-
the levee. Like, we were almost to the turnaround point, and I was like, actually, this spot.
Yeah, this spot. And you like changed it. So like the little things like that across that distance is you've come up with creative ways to kind of like set goals for yourself and kind of compartmentalize the distance in your head. But
What?
I thought that was pretty funny of like, you just stop and like, I don't know what movie that is,
I don't know.
but anyway.
I love like the random things that were going through my mind. Made no sense to you, but then
Yeah.
I express it, and you're like, okay, sure. Like, maybe we'll be back there. Probably not, but maybe.
Probably not. Yeah, sure, Ryan.
Then we go to the turnaround, and I'm trying to make it back to that line. I'm like, is it sunrise yet? Can I see the sun actually peeking over the horizon, or are we going to get to my line before?
Yeah.
I think we were still late to the line.
We were.
It had already come up. But then you're like, well, where was the other line that you drew way back there? And I'm like, I don't know. Let's go find it.
Yeah.
And then like that became another checkpoint.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure by the time we got to it, we had forgotten about it and
Yeah.
walked right by
We just
it.
walked right over it. Yeah. But that was also the coldest part
Yeah, that
because
was-
when the
that was
sun
bad.
comes up, it pushes everything down. So you think like, oh, the sun's warmth. Well, you got like an hour where it's colder, way colder.
And
So
the wind out there on that exposed section. That was
demoralizing.
rough. That was really
Yeah.
rough. I wanted to take a pee out there, and the big power poles that were out there, I like went to pee next to one, but I was on the wind side of it,
Whoops.
and I was like, nah, man. And I like, because I told you, I was like, I'm going to go to the bathroom right here. And you're like, okay. And then I went to go to the bathroom. And I was like, I'm going to go to the bathroom on the other side of the pole. And you're like, okay. It's
Yeah.
like, it's too cold on that side.
Starting to not make much sense.
Yeah.
And then the whole night too. I think it was on the first leg of Charlie Lake. I asked you because you started getting kind of down. Overall, though, your attitude is very positive. There's just a few moments where you got really kind of moody.
Listen,
Rightfully so.
yeah. I
mean-
mean, like for anyone listening to this, thinking about doing a 100-miler, it is a roller coaster of emotions. You could be the most positive, happy person out there, and you're still going to hit some lows
Oh yeah.
where it's rough, which is why it's so important to have a good pacer out there that can just give you a little nugget to get back up, whether it be an M&M or whether it be a question of like, tell me something positive. What's good right now?
Yeah.
And whatever it is, or just say something to make you laugh. I mean, it doesn't. I felt like it took a lot to get me down, but then when I got down, it didn't take a lot to get me back up.
No. Yeah. You
And-
definitely turned quick.
Yeah, and that to me was really a good experience on this whole thing. It was like, I don't know. I appreciated how quickly we together could turn
Yeah.
it around to be a positive thing again,
Yeah,
and
100%.
like, okay, we'll laugh about something in 5 minutes.
Yep. But one of the discussions at the night, I was like, oh, what can I put in front of Ryan that he could look forward to? Well, when we were coming back down the levee, I was doing some math. And I'm like, okay, well, it took us about this long to get here. We should get back to Charlie Lake by about this time. And I'm like weighing it. I knew Sydney was going to be up. I was texting Sydney throughout the night, giving her updates about at every aid station, just about. So every couple hours.
She called me when we were on the levee.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because that's how I knew that she was going to be early,
Mm-hmm.
because we thought we were going to intersect her later.
And I'm pretty sure I had a text conversation with her, like giving her an idea, as far as where she was at and like with the kids and stuff. But the whole night, I jokingly asked you, I said, hey, Ryan, what do you want for breakfast? And you're like, I don't know, man. I don't want any food right now.
The first time you asked me that, I think we were walking on the out of Charlie Lake the first time.
Yeah.
And it was late. I was tired. I was not hungry whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Not to think about breakfast. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to think about food at all.
You're sick and tired of eating. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was done.
Mm-hmm.
But somewhere close to sunrise,
Yeah.
or just before sunrise, it hit me. I knew what I wanted.
You're like, Nate. I said,
Nate.
what's up, Ryan? I know what I want for breakfast. He was like real sure on himself. I said, what do you want, buddy? I want waffles. And I just couldn't help but think about Shrek and Donkey. Like, in the morning, I'm making waffles. So I was like, all right, cool, man. So then that's when I had the conversation with Sydney via text and said, like, hey, Ryan's making a special request of waffles. So if you're able to get up and meet us, the original plan was Fish Hole, but we were a little slow coming back from Charlie Lake. I talked to her and I said, just go ahead and come to, I know you were like, just have her come to Charlie Lake. Just have her come to, that was already decided.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Because she already knew that, like, if you don't hear from me, just keep coming to Charlie Lake, essentially.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I had talked with her on the phone and she
Mhm.
was like, yeah, I'm about to head that way. And I was like, doing trail math again in my head. And I'm like, she's going to be at the Fish Hole for like 3 hours waiting on us.
Yeah, I know.
Why don't she just come to Charlie Lake?
Yeah. Which is what we ended up doing.
And you're like, yeah, we got it.
Yeah, exactly. It was already handled, but you processing and say like, yep, just reassuring you like, yeah, you're going to get to see Sydney at.
I think that's a good thing to note. You can speak on it a lot more than me, but from a pacer perspective at your runner, like try not to get frustrated with your runner because by this point in the run, they are processing things a lot slower. They may be repeating things.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like fully with it, thinking 100% clearly. So like you may have just told them like, hey, at this next aid station, we're going to stop and get you some coffee. And then 5 minutes later, they'll be like, hey, at the next aid station, can you make sure that we get some coffee?
Yep.
And like, instead of
There's
you being
that,
like, instead of you being like, yeah, we just talked about that. Like, have some patience with your runner and be like, yeah, man, I think that's a great idea. Let's do that. Like, just roll with it.
Just roll with it. Yeah.
Because
it's going to change too.
It's not their fault. They don't know.
Yeah. They have no idea what's actually happening.
They probably won't even remember this.
So then behind the scenes, I told Sydney, I called her. I actually remember when I ran ahead just a little bit when you were.
I was talking with the other guy.
Jerry.
Yeah, with Jerry.
You were talking to Jerry. I ran ahead a little bit and I called Sydney. And I told my conversation with Sydney was, all right, Sydney, here's the deal. Just hammer down to Charlie Lake. I had already talked to your dad and I said, have the chair out, yoga mat in the chair to cut the wind.
That was a good call, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. And then the blanket, have the blanket out, have my coffee ready, please. And then we're going to need, and I told your dad what we needed. And then I talked to Sydney and I said, this is the make it or break it. Like we need a big morale boost. He needs a lot of things right now. He needs new shoes. He needs.
Because that at 84, our second time in Charlie Lake, I had switched to my road shoes, my older road shoes, and my right foot was really starting to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And so coming back in, I was like, I want my trail shoes back on. I want my Speedlands.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yep. So
that was a big deal.
The conversation I had with Sydney was like, he needs some U time. He needs a little morale boost because this is the worst section.
Yeah.
He needs I'm going to give you the massage gun. He needs his right quad, his left foot needs a rub, a little stretch, like just all the things, grocery list. And I said, so just drive all the way to the truck and it's going to be a full boost. And then she's like, okay, got it. And she had the breakfast. She had the waffles.
The waffles.
And what was
the
cool,
all-star breakfast
that's
from
it.
Waffle House.
So I run ahead and I left you with Jerry for like that last quarter mile.
Yeah.
I ran ahead. I got stuff prepped. Your dad had music going. He was like pumped because the sun's up.
Yeah.
He had spent the longest time he had spent in the truck. So he's like, wow, people, this is great.
They're alive.
They're alive.
Which, pause right there. You ran ahead. That was like the second or third time that you ran ahead, and then you did it later on in the race too. As a runner, like you got to trust your pacer because like a few times, most of the time, Nate didn't even like say anything when he would run ahead. I just knew that, hey, we're close to the aid station. He's going.
Yeah.
The very last time that he ran ahead, we'll get to on Powerline, he didn't say anything to me and he ran ahead pretty early. And I was just like, geez, bro, where are you going?
Yeah.
Like, I know the aid station's right up here. It was honestly kind of good for me though, because I didn't know how far it was to the aid station.
Yeah.
And I was like, we must be close if he ran ahead.
Yeah.
But then it just kept going and going. And then I got close to that aid station and my dad's like, come on, Ryan, hurry up. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to get up these steps right now because there's a bridge. Yeah. Anyways, my point was, like as a runner, trust your crew guys to to run ahead. They're doing something for you probably.
Right.
Or they're taking care of themselves before you get there.
Yeah.
So that when you get there, it's all about you.
Yep.
So
100%.
that was
that's
a
good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it was an open enough trail that I wasn't worried about you getting lost. Like,
Yeah.
you're just gonna walk down a road essentially. And so I ran ahead, got everything ready, and then you came in. I had already restocked my vest, so when you got there, it was vest off in the chair. That was a really good time for Sydney too, because I could see it in her tone, even though you had your eyes closed through most of that station. In her tone, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you were out of it.
Dang.
Yeah. And her tone was like, okay, I'm now part of the process. Like,
yeah.
she was checked
I think
in.
she was also by that point, like we were over the hill
Yeah.
of like, is he going to do this? To now she's like, oh, he's going to finish this thing.
He's going to finish it.
Yeah. So I think everybody's worry had turned to excitement at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And also a little bit of like anxiousness of like, wow, he's gone so slow. Like now we're getting closer to the cutoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like the climax of a movie. Like,
Yeah.
can they do it?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It got exciting at the end.
That was the tone. And I talked to Sydney and I said, okay, so from here on out, Ryan is not allowed to sit in any more chairs, and we have to move on this one. And when we come through, I'm going to grab what we need, and then Ryan's just going to keep walking. So the aid station stops will not be long. So he's just going to need a hug, a kiss, a high five, something as you roll through.
Yeah.
I'm just going to run ahead, grab snacks, and we're just going to keep going.
I don't know if you ever verbally said that to me, that like
didn't.
we're not going to sit down anymore.
I didn't.
But you and I were so on the same page by that point that it was like my mission after that Charlie Lake aid station was just roll on.
Yeah.
And every aid station we came to, I literally like kissed her, kissed my kids, kept walking.
Yep.
And you would run ahead a little bit, and then you would run to catch up with me, and that worked so well. And by that point, like we were just a team right there going, I know what we're doing. We're on the same mission here.
Yep. And then it was.
That's what I was gonna say about Charlie Lake too. Sorry, before you go on. The vibe at that one. My buddy Jerry, who I really don't know that well, but Jerry drove all the way over there to volunteer at this race and also see me at some point, and he ended up walking with me for like a half mile or so into that Charlie Lake aid station. But so Jerry was there, my wife and kids were there. The kids were asleep in the car, so really, like I got to see my wife, my dad, you, like that aid station when we got our Waffle House breakfast and everything. That was like an epic aid station all around, because I felt like the whole team had pulled together right there. And that's what I was saying. Like everybody believed at that point that I was going to finish and that I could get to the finish. And it was no longer like the stress and worry of can he make it? It was like everybody's on board and everybody's working together to get me there. And like the gratitude level that I felt at that moment, I was just like, this is freaking awesome. You guys are the best people in the world. And
it was a cool feeling.
It was epic.
It was. And then you cannot leave out the waffle experience. So I put honey on the waffle.
I don't know what you put on the waffle, but you shoved the waffle in my mouth. You said I was sitting there with my eyes closed, and I vaguely remember that. But I remember you're like, open up, and I cracked my eyes open, and I just see like waffle and egg sandwich coming towards my face, and I was like, okay, well, yum.
And the honey was so cold that I was like squeezing it with everything I had to get the honey out. But yeah, waffles and honey, like shoving it in there. At one point, you probably don't remember this, but I put the waffle in your mouth, and then you just kind of like sat there with it in your mouth, and your eyes are closed. I'm like, Ryan, chew the waffle. You're like, oh yeah.
Forgot about that part.
Yeah. So, but
wait,
no,
you're supposed to chew these things.
Do you remember what I said to you when you were coming out of I said, okay, you got 5 minutes
to get out of the chair.
Yeah, and then I said, all right, 1 minute, we're moving. You remember me kneeling down and what I said?
I don't remember word for word what you said. Okay. I remember you knelt down, like you got basically like in my face, and we're just like, we're gonna do this or something, it's buckle day. I don't know what you said.
So I knelt down,
some little motivator.
And I looked at you in the eyes, and your eyes were like half open, and just like red around the eyes. Your face was starting to get puffy, and I said, Ryan, right now is the make it or break it, or whether or not you finish this.
Yeah, that's right.
I said, we have to move. We're moving in 1 minute. So figure out how you're going to get out of this chair, but we're moving in one and we're not stopping. That was the only thing I said to you.
Yeah.
And then
what happened?
And then you said, you kind of like tucked your head down for a second and then looked back up at me, made very intentional eye contact and said, Roger that. And then it was lock in mode because we still had 18 or so miles.
That little look down was like, dang it. Gotta go again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, all right, mission's on.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So
Roger that. Let's roll.
So Charlie Lake was a really cool experience from the team aspect, your aspect. And then you had this, I don't know when it happened because that whole bit was kind of a blur, but you had this stoic kind of stride about you of like, this is probably the worst shape I've ever been in.
Yeah.
And I am now in uncharted waters. Like everything before you've probably experienced or felt as far as like sleep fatigue and everything else. But those last 18 to 20 miles, you're like, I've never felt this way before.
Yeah.
And with all your time in the Navy, like I feel like the first, 80 miles were the pain and stuff that you felt was probably similar in some aspects. And like you were kind of going off of like previous experience, but now from 80 to 100, you had this stoic stride about you of like, I am so vulnerable. I do not like the way I feel. And I'm going to finish this. I just don't know really what's going to happen. And you had this real, I don't know how to describe it, but this kind of poise about you, if you will, of just one, humility, like the distance just strictly humbled you. But you were just really leaning on everybody around you. And I think you said thank you probably 50 times in the last 20 miles, which is really cool because you're like, at one point you said, I feel like we should cut this buckle in half. I said, no, dude, this is your race, man. Like you almost started to almost feel sorry, but it was just really cool to see how the team came together there.
Yeah.
And like this distance is not just an individual runner. This is strictly a team thing.
I think for me, it's like what I just said with my wife and dad at that aid station. It was no longer like, can you survive through the night and get to the next checkpoint? It was like the next checkpoint was the finish line. Yeah, there was things in between.
Yeah.
But I stopped thinking about the next checkpoint. Like I stopped thinking about, we're going to make it to fish hole. We're going to make it power line. It was like finish line is within grasp.
Yeah.
And like,
but close grasp.
It's like a fine line that you have to teeter, because if you keep that in your mind the whole time, the whole race, it'll feel like it takes longer than it actually does. And it already takes a really freaking long time.
Yeah.
But it'll just like feel like the end is never coming.
Yeah.
Because you're just, when am I going to finish? And you miss everything in the middle because you're so focused on the finish line. So I felt like I did a good job at being present throughout the race.
You did, yeah.
And focusing on like the next checkpoint, the next step, and just doing the thing.
Yeah.
And then at that point, when you looked at me and said that, I really like, I remember saying Roger that to you. And I remember thinking in my head, like, that was like a really military thing to say. But I think that that's exactly what it reminded me of. It instilled back in like, you may not want to be here right now. Like, you may not want to do this, but this is the mission. You're really close. And like, you're not going to let the team down around you.
Yeah.
They've gotten you this far.
Yeah.
You can't just collapse on the road and give in now. So it was like that, what you said to me, like gave me a mission right there. And it was like, all right, there's no other option but to successfully complete the mission.
Yep.
And that carried on all the way through the finish line.
Yep.
Even when we thought that we had less time than we did. And it was like, I don't know where I got that 50th wind that I got, but I got one at some point.
Somewhere,
we'll get to that. But like that mindset of just the mission is the only thing that matters now. That I think that's what contributed to that stoic look. It was just like, okay, that's my only focus right now.
Yep.
I will eat when you tell me to eat. I will drink when you tell me to eat or drink.
Yeah.
I will do whatever you tell me to do, but I'm not stopping. I'm just going to keep going and get this thing done.
Yeah. Yeah, that was key.
Which was a little bit less present in the moment, like going through that stuff. It was more of like a driving focus of what's ahead. I'm almost there. But it's what I needed at that time.
Yeah. No, that was Charlie Lake, I'll never forget that. Just whole experience there.
Yeah.
Like, that was incredible. So yeah, then the fish hole that was really uneventful. Ran ahead, got the stuff, and then you kept trekking. Ran ahead.
Well, we went down the road from Charlie Lake. You go down the road, and then you
Mhm.
duck back in the woods.
Yep.
And neither of us really knew how far in the woods you had to go till you got to the fish hole aid
Mhm.
station. But we both were like, "Oh, it's not that far."
No.
I think it was a little farther than what we thought,
Yeah.
but
That section wasn't bad.
it wasn't
Yeah.
bad. And it was like, okay, we know we're gonna get to fish hole. And as soon as we came through there, yeah, you ran ahead. I kissed my wife. Of course, there's like two sides of the trail. One side was perfectly clear with nothing on it. The other side had sticks and stuff all over it. She's standing right there.
Yeah.
I was like, really? You had to stand right here?
Yeah. All the things you think about.
You're trying to
after.
trip me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because my leg's already not working right. And I'm like, I got to step over all this crap.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like slightly annoyed.
Yeah, little things set you off when you're that tired.
I was so tired and it's like,
okay.
But it was good. It was like something to keep your mind engaged to at that point is good. Even if it's frustrating, it's like you're thinking about it. So I get there, I'm like, I got to step over all this crap, but then I got to give them a kiss and go.
Yep.
And like, yep, see you in 3 miles.
Exactly.
See you in an hour-ish.
Ish. And then from Fishhole to Powerline, there was this older gentleman that was we were on a leapfrogging.
Oh, yeah.
Around the corner, and that joker is drop trowel, like not even 20 feet off the trail. Just letting it all out. I could see he had the baby wipes out, and
his
he was
pacer. He's like, I come around the curve, Nate's in front of me, and this dude's like 10, 20 feet in the woods, drop trowel, doing his business. His pacer's standing like right off the trail, just facing us though, not the guy in the woods, facing us. And he's like, hey, good morning, how you doing? We're like, great. And just head down, keep on going, wait for the smell to hit you.
Yeah, that he was having a massive GI issue, so glad he got that sorted out. But
about 10 minutes later, they ran back by us.
Yeah, that's true. Which kudos to that guy. Like, he was an older gentleman.
Yeah,
like I don't know how old he was, but I would guess late 60s, early 70s.
I think that was the pacer guy too that fell out in front of Sydney. Yeah.
Oh wow.
When Sydney was coming into that Charlie Lake aid station with our breakfast, she witnessed a dude fall out on the road, like just fall over.
Oh wow.
And basically pass out. And she was like, I just watched somebody die. Great. This is now a thing. This is a problem.
Now a thing.
But he was right next to this van, this U-Haul van, and a bunch of people jumped out of the van right away and started helping him up. And she's like, oh, good, he's not dead. Apparently, that was their crew van, and he was the pacer for his runner who was already in the van getting treated, and he was like walking up to the van, and apparently, according to him, he was in so much pain that he passed out. He's like, this happens to me occasionally.
Interesting.
And I remember Sydney telling us that, and I told you later on, I don't remember if I told you the whole story or told you anything, but I was like, I'm glad I don't pass out due to pain like that guy, because I would have passed out a long time ago.
Yeah, that was good. Like everybody else is falling out, I'm still trucking.
Yeah, it just hurts.
Yeah. And then when we came into Powerline, that aid station, for the last time, we were like, okay, we've got 6-7 miles left, whatever it was. You run off ahead or walk off ahead, and I'm trying to restock as best I can. I took your flask, refilled them, and then restocked as much as I could. And I get back to you, and I hear you yell, or you called me.
So that was where we had to cross the boardwalk, and I was struggling to get over the steps. My dad's like, come on, Ryan, you got a little time.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Thanks,
go park
Dad.
another 200 yards away, Dad.
Yeah.
But I eventually got over the boardwalk, got into the woods, and I get this vibrate on my phone in between the last aid station,
Powerline,
Fish Hole and Powerline.
Yeah.
In between those two, I had gotten an alert on my phone. It said battery low. I was like, battery low? My phone's at 70% or something. And then I looked at my watch and I was like, oh, it's at 10%.
Oh,
that's not good.
No.
Like, but doing the math in my head, it should last. It's lasted this far on 90% battery. The last 10%, it should last. I don't know what happened, but I crossed the road at Powerline. You were over there getting stuff for me. I walk into the woods. I get another alert, and it's like power extremely low or something like that. Check my watch, 2%.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh crap, my watch is about to die. I'm about
Yeah.
to lose this
Mm-hmm.
this race on my watch.
Yeah.
So I called you and I was like, have you left yet? You're like, no. I was like, I need a Garmin charger ASAP.
Yes.
You're like, okay.
So I had not technically left yet, but I was by that log,
Oh, okay.
like
The one that I
going
tripped
into
on?
the woods. Yeah, the one you tripped on the
Yeah.
way out there.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay. So I run back, find the charger, and then try to catch up to you.
I know
And
my dad or Sydney, somebody said that you were like, he needs a Garmin charger. And they're like, I don't know what that is.
yeah, I guess I'll go find
And
it.
you're like, never mind, I'll get it.
Yeah. So I went and got it, and then caught back up with you. And that section was where, for most of the race, I was in front of you, to try to like pull you along. But then that was the only time where you asked me if I was okay. You said, Nate, you all right? And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm fine. And you're like, you're not okay. I'm like, because I stretched my calf, because I hadn't, the whole time I was so concerned. And this is advice for anybody who's thinking about pacing somebody. You need to take care of yourself, because I did not take care of myself that entire time. I was not eating the way that I should have been. I was still eating, and I was drinking and peeing like I should have, but
Yeah.
it's still 50 miles is still no joke. So like, you're prioritizing your runner, because that's who you're there for.
Oh, and we were walking
And we were walking
a lot more. So like things were just very different than what I think you expected going into it.
Yeah.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't game plan in your head for what to do if we walked this much.
Right. And so I am kind of thankful for that last section, because although it was your race and it was your your moment, really, what was cool was that last section was like two just battered people that were cold, miserable. My left knee, I have a tight hamstring on the left side, and if I don't like stretch or roll or do something halfway through to kind of like alleviate some of that, it will stove up. And I knew that, but I didn't
At
take care
Charlie
of it.
Lake, was it that when you ran ahead that you massaged your own leg with the massage gun ahead
Yeah, I
of
did
time?
it. I tried to do it away from you.
Trying to get
Yeah.
there early?
Yeah.
Because I vaguely remember sitting in that chair and looking over, and you were like doing your own leg. I was like, oh, good. Nate's taking care of himself.
Yeah. But it started to hurt on that, going out, leaving Charlie Lake.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God dang, this is not good. So anyway, but there's a few times that you stopped to kind of like stretch your hips and your legs out. And I was ahead, and I kind of looked up at you, and we kind of like made this eye contact, and I just kind of nodded, and you kind of nodded, and you were like starting to fall asleep. And there's a couple like side conversations you had with people, like not with people, but there was a couple times you're like, what'd you just say? I didn't say anything. And it was just like this moment of just, we're both miserable at this point, and we're battling cutoff times, and we run out of food. Like, you're like, do we have any caffeine? Like, no.
Oh, yeah.
I failed because I'm starting to space out. Like, I didn't even think about caffeine. I should have thought about that, but I didn't. And it was just, that was a rough, even though it was the finish, that was rough for both of us.
Yeah.
We're both tired, walking real slow.
Well, I think about myself at the 50-mile mark and how you said, like, oh, I was still really together and with it. And I'm like, you should have been that way.
Yeah.
But my 50-mile mark was, 13 hours in?
Mm-hmm.
12, 13 hours, something like that. You went just under 50 miles, and it took us
20
hours.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's not so much the distance, it's the time. That's why people say like time on feet when you're doing ultra training is the important part, because it's not about the distance as much as it is the time. Because at the 12, 13 hour mark, you were still great.
Yeah.
But by hour 20, yeah, you're starting to fade too.
Yeah, 100%.
Not just physically, but mentally, not the same Nate that you were 6 hours ago.
Right.
And understandably so.
Right.
It's like, bro, I'm tired.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying like, man, I haven't felt this way since the back half of a 48 hour in Georgia.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, we're pushing some limits here.
Yeah. I mean, I remember feeling, when I made that comment, I get this like weird, like slightly dizzy fatigue feeling. And I'm like, whoa, there's that feeling again of,
I remember you saying that. You're like, oh, there it is.
There it is.
And I was like, what are you talking about? Nate's lost it, dude.
I mean, I had felt that before, but it had been a while, like,
Yeah.
3 fires in 48 hours and like being up all night for 48 hours straight. Like, I've been there before, so I know what it feels like, but it's miserable. So yeah, we're both like battered, tired, miserable, hungry, but we don't want to eat anymore. And it now became this like team building, just ruck exercise.
That look you referred to where like you would look back and just kind of like nod at each other. It was like we both understood the mission at that point. We both knew that we could say something motivating to the other, but basically, dude, like this is just going to suck for the next few miles.
Mm-hmm.
We both know that we've got less than 6 miles, and it felt like those miles drug on and on and on. It was like, mile 95, 96.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy crap.
These 20-minute miles are now turning into 30-minute miles, and it's...
And I felt like I was trying so hard right then, too.
I know.
And I was getting slower.
Yeah. It's like no matter what we did,
yeah,
like everything was fine. Every single undulation in the trail started to feel, I could tell in your walk, like all the steps were becoming very intentional. Like foot placement was like key.
Yeah.
Like I can't trip over this route.
Let's not fall now.
Yeah, let's not fall now.
I didn't fall once on the whole trail.
That's really good, actually.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And then it became this game of like, when we came out of the woods, we hit a road because we were like, where's the road?
That road was my hope for so long.
Yep.
Until we got to the road.
Yeah.
And then it was just like we were back on the freaking levee.
Yes.
That never ended because I kept asking you, how much longer till the road? And you're like, well, my map shows that we've got like 1.5 miles on the road once we get there. And so I'm like doing backwards math in my head. I'm like, okay, so we should only have 1.5 miles till we're on the road.
Yeah.
And at one point you were in front of me and you looked like you were starting to feel it. And I was like, only 1.5 miles to the road. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get to the road. And well, during that time also, Sydney is texting you, telling you, you guys need to hurry up.
Yeah.
And explain a little bit of that.
Yeah. So Sydney texts me and says, y'all need to pick up the pace. And I'm like, my initial reaction was like,
screw you.
Shut up, Sydney. But I had a brief moment where I'm like, wait, did I do my math wrong? And so I'm like recalculating. I got my phone out. I got Onyx out. And I'm like dropping pins to figure out, okay, we've got this far, this far, this far. Okay, we got about however many miles, 4 miles. We're walking right now about 30-minute pace. We'll give it 28 minutes. And I'm doing some math, figuring it out. And I'm like, no, we've got more time. But before that, I said, Ryan, we got to pick it up. And you're like, we got time. And I'm thinking like, we're close. We're real close. But yeah, we do have a little bit of time.
Well, at some point there was a miscommunication about the
cutoff time.
The cutoff time getting moved up all of a sudden. Like
yeah,
they were shutting down the finish line. Shutting down the finish line early.
Yeah,
which got me mad again.
But. Yeah, it was like, I don't know. We both were mad because what was being relayed to us was that the cutoff time originally was 4:30 p.m., but it sounded like the cutoff time was now 3:30 p.m.
or 4.
I
don't know. They were basically going to shut it down early, and we were like, okay, but why?
Yeah.
It was 4 because I was like, we're still going to make it, but it's going to be really close.
But based off the conversation that your dad had with the race directors, that wasn't going to happen.
No.
It was lost in communication from them to us.
Yeah.
Because of the actual cutoff time. And so...
Well, and basically, after talking with Sydney and Dad a little bit about that afterwards, the race directors were asking, like, how many more people are on the trail? And they're like, well, we know that we've got one guy and a pacer out there. And they were following me on my Garmin live track.
Yeah.
But my phone died. Yep. You know, the phone that had 70% battery 4 hours before that. Yeah. I don't know. At some point in that last stretch, in the last like 3 miles, it died.
Oh.
I have no idea how. I know I was listening to music for a while.
Yeah.
But anyways, my phone died and my live track ended.
Mm-hmm.
And so Sydney could no longer see where I was.
So I sent her my watch live track.
Yeah. But prior to that, they lose track of me. They're like, we know where he was. We know about how much farther he's got and what pace he was at. And they had that discussion with the race directors, and they were like, "Oh, well, they need to pick up the pace. Like they're gonna be
Close.
they're gonna be close, and we're gonna pack this thing up." They
Yeah.
said something like that, and that's when Sydney was like, "Oh crap, they're gonna pack this up early," and like
Yeah. That's where the
they
communication dropped.
probably the race directors probably didn't like look at their watch and give them a hard time, but they were probably like they've only got like an hour to finish or something like that,
Yeah.
and maybe we had an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But Sydney took it as like they're gonna shut this thing down in an hour,
Yeah.
so these boys better move.
Yeah, right.
And so that's the information we get is like they're shutting down the finish line early. You guys need to get here ASAP.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, I did not come all this freaking way for them to shut down early and tell me we didn't make it.
Right. Yeah. But your dad said that Sean was like, no, he's come this far. He's gonna get a finish, and we were within the limit, so we were totally good.
Yeah.
But we come out, we finally hit that road, and we're like, yes, the road, and then we started walking on the road, and it was like this stupid road.
I was like, where's the end? And you're like, oh, we gotta go down around this corner, and then it's there, and then we get to that corner, and it's like there's another little turn down there.
Yes.
It kept going and going.
But that last section was probably the most quiet section for both of us. Like we didn't say a whole lot. But when we finally did get to that last section, and it was like every step, it was like pull, step, pull, step. It was just this intentional.
Well, because back it up 5 minutes, we had been told, or back it up like an hour probably, we had been told that we needed to hurry.
Yeah.
So the last stretch of trail, like the last 2 miles on the trail, I was giving it everything I had.
Yeah.
And probably still coming in at like 30-minute mile pace. I don't know. I feel like we were probably like 22-mile pace or something. Like we had picked it up a little bit, but I was pushing hard. And then we get to that road, and that was like in my mind, not the finish, but it was like, oh, it's easier now.
Yeah.
But there's still a mile and a half, and 30-minute miles. That's 45 more minutes of just walking on this freaking road. That's not that long.
Right. Yeah.
It's
it was
a lot.
Tough. And then I said to you, like, well, your family's down there somewhere. Go get them. And then,
well, that was also the first time that I looked over at you, and you were kind of like hobbling a little too.
I was, yeah.
And I was like, "You all right, man?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Not great." It's the first time that you actually opened up with me and shared what was going on with your legs. And I was like, "All right, well, I guess now's a good time for you to break down when we're at the end."
At the end, yeah. But I was not going to try to let you know that my left knee was stoved up like it was, because I'm like, not about me right now. It's about you. Like, I mean, I'll leave a piece of me on this trail if I have to. Like, it's fine. We're just going to get you across this finish line. Like that's the whole, that's why I'm even here. Like, if you weren't running the race, I wouldn't even be here. So like, I'm just here to, like lay it down, man. You need me to lay down as a bridge, I'll do that. Like, it don't matter. But, like
my shoes muddy.
Yeah.
You lay down right there.
Yeah. Here you go. You can step on my knee and hop over.
Yeah.
But that last section, I had like this real small, like, vision, if you will. I never hallucinated on this at all. I have before in the past on other times, but not like this one. But, and I just preface what I'm about to say. I am not a soldier, and I am not in the military, and I've never been in combat or war. So I don't have any inkling on what war is like at all. But I had this slight vision of like we just literally were walking down this stretch, and what was behind us is now over, and like we're walking it back from like a combat zone. Like, we just went through a ton of emotions and pain, and like helping Ryan through this, and then now we're finally here, and like the finish line was all packed up, but the race directors are still there. Like, the clock was still running, and there was no fanfare, pomp and circumstance as we're like coming up. Your family can tell that it's us. And I've read that a lot of runners, when they physically see the finish line, they just stop, and they just kind of like almost give up, because they see it after that type of distance. And so like I got half a step in front of you to kind of like help pull you across, and you like stop, dig your trekking poles in the dirt, and you said, Nate, finish this with me. And I'm like, yeah. good call, man. So we walked across the finish line, and then like what was so cool about it was there was no like fanfare or music or nothing, just quiet. You could hear the wind. There's a few like light applause,
quiet cheers,
and then you kind of go over to your family, get some awesome pictures. Like, your daughter came out and gave you a hug. Then she ran over and gave me a hug.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. I'm like, oh, what's up? But like that whole finish, man, was just like humbly crossing the finish line. Like, it was just a really cool experience. Going through that, and then you go over to your family or whatever. I go to the right, and your dad is standing there, and he's not an emotional person by any means. I could tell there was a lot of like passion in his voice, and he's like, good job, Nate, and thanks for helping Ryan. And I could tell in his voice he was like a lot of weight there.
Yeah.
And I like look over, and I had this weird emotion of like, dude, we just walked like 20 hours together. Why are you over there, man? Like, what the heck, man? It's just the bonds that you create.
Why are you so far away from me?
Why are you so far away from me? I've never been less than like 10 feet from you the entire time. But it was just a really cool, like, we built one heck of a team through that. And the whole race, man, was just so awesome to see you navigate those mental obstacles and come out on top. If you had been feeling great the entire time and run, walk the whole thing, I don't think you would have pulled the same stuff out of this race like you did this one.
No, I agree. I mean, everything happens for a reason, and I think like God definitely had a plan going into this race long before I ever signed up, and He had a different plan than what I had in my mind.
Yeah.
The expectations that I had of like going into this race and working through whatever past trauma or struggles or mental blocks I was thinking of. I mean, just I figured that I would go into it and kind of like meditate on some of those things.
Yeah.
And I didn't. Actually, like, let's see. It was between Charlie Lake and Fish Hole on the way back. So mile 85 to 90, somewhere in there. It finally popped into my mind, something that I thought I would think about on this run ahead of time. And I like thought of it, and I was like, man, I haven't thought about this at all this whole time. And then almost as fast as it came into my mind, it left my mind.
Yeah.
And what I realized through all this was like, number one, God had a plan going into it that I never could have expected. Number two, God's not here to help you like dwell on and meditate on your past failures and screw ups. The things that I thought about on this walk were all like present and future stuff. Like, what is God doing in my life right now? And what is He going to do in my life in the future through what I'm learning right now? And I just think that that's such a good reminder of what God's doing in us all the time. He's not dwelling on the past. You are forgiven of your sins. He's looking at future you and thinking, or not thinking, but like planning your next great thing with Him. It's not about the failures. It's about what's ahead of you. I just, that was one of my biggest takeaways, that and gratitude. I mean, like you said, I said thank you 50 times. I feel like I should have said 50 more times or more. I mean, like, I can't say thank you guys enough to you, my wife, my dad, my kids for putting up with it. It's just incredible, man. Like the amount of people that care so much to get me through something that is, maybe stupid to them. I think my dad thinks this is all dumb, but he was there. He showed up at every aid station. He was there when we needed him with stuff, and we couldn't have done it without him.
No,
so like that,
absolutely.
that kind of stuff. It really puts things in perspective and makes you think like, whatever is going on in life, it ain't that bad.
No. Yeah.
It
could be way worse.
It could be way worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was a good team building thing, and having everybody come together like that was just really, really awesome. And I'd encourage anybody, like, that's why, where here at Suffer Up, like our mission is to like encourage people and lead them to do those hard things. I know it's kind of cliche in the world, but like put yourself in those positions around people who care to help you level up and find the purpose in those sufferings, and the lessons that are learned through those are like, you can't find them anywhere else.
No.
It's amazing.
The lesson that, like, the biggest lesson I would take away from this, I wrote it down afterwards because I didn't want to forget. And like the way I would summarize it is, God wasn't looking at my past mistakes. He was working on my future purpose.
Yeah, that's good.
And through that whole experience, some of that was revealed to me, some of that was worked on and like instilled in me, the values that I will need for the future purpose, I think were built and revealed during this time.
Yep.
So I would definitely encourage anybody to get out there. You want to grow spiritually, mentally, and physically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of a better way to do it.
Yeah. But do it with somebody.
Yeah.
Do it with somebody that you trust and care
I don't know
about.
that you could do it alone.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it, is like the teamwork and gratitude that you're going to get from working with somebody on something like this is on a whole nother level. And I'm super excited to do it in reverse.
Pumped. Yeah.
Be that crew for you and see it from that side, and for you to see it from my side, because it is just incredible.
Yep. It's really awesome. Thankful for it. Thankful for the whole team, crew, everything. It was just a humble, like, I don't know that everybody walks away from 100 with something. Like, obviously everybody has their why and their reason, but
walks is a loose term.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody limps away with something different.
Limps away. Yeah. So we're still kind of dealing with a few small ailments, but I think that regardless, it's your race and it's your moment, if you will. Our guys put a plug in for him at You Run You. Like John, he preaches that. Like, it's your race, you run you, and it's your journey. So you set the tone and the pace, and the lessons that you can pull from each race or each journey is up to you. It's just whether or not you want to put yourself in the position to learn and grow. And if you're not learning or growing from these experiences, then why are you doing them? Yeah. It's not just for the Instagram post. It's to grow yourself. If you're not growing through them, then you're not doing it right. So
the buckle's cool, but everything that we took away other than the buckle is worth so much more.
Yeah, absolutely.
The buckle could be lost or stolen or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And heck, Nate didn't even get a buckle. But like, what we took away beyond that is untouchable. Nobody can ever take that from you.
Nope.
So
yeah, built one heck of a team.
Yep.
Go team.
Go team.
Guys, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Suffer Up podcast with Nate and Ryan. We hope you enjoyed this as we shared our journey and experiences through the Forgotten Florida Trail Run. If you'd like to hear more, please go back and listen to the rest of our other episodes. And we love you guys so much, and thanks for listening to us today. We love y'all, and as always,
suffer up.